Okay, are you ready for this?
Is that one filming, you think?
I don't know, but are you ready? Let's do this. Tim, no time to drink coffee.
I have a proposal. We're talking about mental health, right? Can you share a little bit why you wanted to talk about it?
Okay, so the day I had this idea, I felt like I have life figured out. And then yesterday, I was like, Tim, can we pull back? I don't want to talk about mental health. I don't think I know what we're doing. So I was like, can we change the topic? And he's like, no, we're sticking with the topic. So I think it's such a hard topic. I'm not educated on it. So when we went to Italy, Tim had a major health scare.
I'll probably take back the story just 1 year before that,
Okay, let's take it back.
where everything was nice and bright and we had so much going, right? I mean, the last few years, we have so much happening. We bought our first new house.
Yeah, not a
Then
flip for the first time.
Yeah, first time. And then we bought this house, which was, we could never imagine getting this house.
Yeah.
And there is so much happening that is good. Um, my body started to vibrate.
Uh-huh.
It's as if I'm being shocked by electricity. So everything, like, I'm physically active. You're physically
Yeah,
active.
Tim works out literally
I've been
every
working out,
day or every other day.
not every
Not every
day,
day, but I
not
would
every
say
day.
4 to 5 times a week. Am I over exaggerating? I feel like you're always
Four,
working
like
out.
four. But I've been hitting the gym for almost 10 years. I've been very, very
You eat
proactive with
very
this,
clean.
except chocolate. But yes, I eat very clean. And like legitimately, everything was going well. And all of a sudden, my body begins vibrating. It's as if getting shocked by electricity. So it's like if any of you ever like tried one of those electric pens, the one that buzzes you, well, that's how I started feeling and I became disoriented. So all of this
Mm-hmm.
started happening like so rapidly within like a whole month. Like I was like feeling disoriented. I started tripping over things. The coffee art began very difficult for me to do. And I love to make
Yeah.
coffee, especially for you. And all of a sudden I couldn't do coffee art. I couldn't do hair. Like the whole like being just confused and hard to make of sentences. I don't know. I don't want to get stuck talking too much about it, but it became so sudden.
It was
Um,
like last Christmas. I remember on Christmas Eve, like
mhm.
you were talking with all of us, with kids, with everybody, and it was a really
It
hard moment.
in Slavic culture, it's like I mean, in generally, like no one gets. It's
But
not normal to get sick. It's no one gets sick. There's no such thing as getting sick.
yeah, well, yeah, you can get sick, and there's no such a thing as therapy. There's no such a thing as mental health either. It's like you just go, like, I mean, the way we grew up, it was like you
Mhm.
go to church, you pray, and everything's good.
Well, yeah, and actually, this is interesting because when I was going through all this, I was laying in bed. It felt like you couldn't get out of it. All of a sudden I started to think about the people that say, my whole body hurts. And
Mm.
those of okay, some of you may relate to this, but especially growing up in Slavic cultures, when you say like the way my parents used to say, like if everything hurts, it means nothing is hurting.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
making it
that's
up,
true.
right? And I was like laying there, I'm like, okay, what about all the people that are actually experiencing those things that they cannot explain and they're actually in pain? And like, and this was the way I approached life too. I'm like, oh yeah, if everything is hurting, they're just making it up. What if these people are actually all hurting? They just can't explain it. And this is interesting. So it's a neurology thing, right? It's our nerves. And actually, this is interesting. I have so much I've learned through this is like our brains are connected to our nerves,
Yeah.
and our nerves are connected to the rest
Muscles.
of the body,
Yeah.
the rest of the body. And so, like right now, like learning through my neurologist, he's like, "Oh, so I still don't know what it is. No one knows what it is, but my neurologist is saying it has something to do with your body being stuck uh in this fight or flight. I think that's what they call
Mode.
mode, where your
Yeah.
brain sends a signal to your rest of your body, like a stress signal,
Yeah.
and the body in return sends some kind of a hormone back to the brain because or adrenaline or hormone or something like that. And it creates a whole loop of your body getting tense and tense and tense and more tense up until it starts shaking. So and the body can't escape it because it's just stuck in it. And it's such a mental thing. Um, it's just interesting. It's not just like getting hurt. It's just your body slowly coming to that state. I don't know.
So I also think you're holding a lot of stuff in too. Like you as a person, you hold everything in. Like you lock in, you don't talk about it so much. I think you're better about it right now. Like you share a
Hmm.
lot more. And like this is an example of it.
Yeah.
Like it's impressive that you're actually
Yeah.
doing this because you're naturally not the type of person that would share stuff like this. But I appreciate that you're talking about it with people. I think it's important to be, especially for like a guy that came from Russia, that's like
No,
supposed to be a macho man, to talk about feelings and emotions and nerves and everything else. I think it's so good.
I think it's not embarrassing to talk about it. I'm very open to talk about it, and it doesn't take much to do it. My biggest problem is I can't find the words to talk about it. So there's a couple things, and this is interesting. I wonder. I can't think help to think whether people are like that. So first of all, there's one factor of making it inconvenience to talk about it, right? Because you don't want to make it an inconvenience for your family, right? Growing up, I didn't want to complain to my dad because or my mom because it was an inconvenience to them. In the family, it's an inconvenience to everyone.
Like you're a burden.
It's a burden. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
burden. So you just shush and you leave and just you forget about it, right? You layer it up in yourself, and then there is a there's a factor like not being able to explain yourself, right?
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like you start talking to someone, like, oh yeah, my mom had it, my dad had it, but everybody had it. Oh, I also have it. Oh, I always have it, but you know what? Take vitamin B, it's gonna be all gone. It's like,
Actually, can I make a note in here?
yeah,
Like vitamin B. I was actually really worried because I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of people. So I love natural doctors. I like
uh,
natural medicine. Tim, like he spent literally the entire last year in like in and out of doctor offices,
mm,
like different kind of doctors trying to figure this out. And the funny thing is, I have a feeling that like people like me will start commenting and telling you to take magnesium or something.
yeah.
Tim goes for a massage this last week, and the lady wrote him a whole cute little note. The
Uh,
massage therapist, which was like an older lady, but she's like, "Take this, take that, take this." So I have a feeling we're gonna get comments like that.
yeah.
What will help you and chamomile tea all the way.
Well,
I'm
the thing
sorry.
is,
I'm like, I know it's like a
yeah,
serious topic, but I also want to like, I love that where we are
it's
right now. So I'm like laughing at it a
yeah,
little
and I'm
bit.
sure someone could be deficient on like B12 or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, there's so many layers to it that only actually right now, speaking of all this whole neurological thing, only right now, doctors legitimately, because I've been looking into all this so much, are starting to figure out what's causing. Like we didn't know so much, like that complexity of like
Human body.
just like the nervous system, because a lot of it is really the nervous system, because our stress, our anxiety is connected to our stress response is connected to the nervous system. And like I remember like the doctor was asking me, are you stressed? Like not at all. Like, do you have anxiety? Like, I don't think so. Are you worried about somebody? No. But he's like, okay. And then like that's not always the thing. It's little stressors in our life, little bit like even like TikToks.
Okay, let's talk about TikToks. I actually had notes a little
I want
bit
to talk about
here.
TikToks.
I've been wanting to talk about TikToks for so long. So I thought that was our solution. Actually, can we quickly summarize what happened in Italy? Because I feel like we dropped it off there
Oh
and we
yeah.
never finished. So can I like quickly finish it?
Well, leading up to it,
Leading up to that, you spent the whole summer or
I
whatever
spent that
year.
whole thing like doctor's offices. It was insane.
Whole year
Whole year.
basically because we this
Yeah.
started like in December of last year,
Yeah.
an entire year. In October we went to Italy, so that whole year Tim has been in and out of doctor's office, physical
The
therapy,
only
all this
thing
stuff.
that kind of helped me a little bit is my neurologist. Is I was working on my sleep, and it kind of improved those
Yeah, you
things.
have insomnia in general.
I stopped buzzing, so that was the worst feeling. Like after a month or two of buzzing, it stopped, and it was okay-ish. I still had a hard time like focusing.
Yeah, you were still like going to physical therapy for your
Yeah.
back, thinking that there could be
Right, which
something
was actually
pinched.
related to all that, because even the whole tense back, I always thought like, oh yeah, that has to be a bad, not muscles, back bones. No, it's a nervous system that's tenses the muscles.
Hmm.
All the same thing. But
All
anyways,
connected.
yeah, all connected.
Okay, so we go to Italy, and Tim starts feeling this again. Like he doesn't sleep on a flight, you don't sleep, you arrive to
It's just
Italy,
in one day, everything just like
flipped,
flips over back to what it was a year ago, and it starts shaking again,
and
worse than before.
worse than before. And it was kind of like a wake up call. It was because like
Yeah,
this whole year was manageable, and then
yeah,
in Italy, everything just like slams you in the face, and you're like, okay, but this is, there has to be something there, and what are we
yeah.
dealing with?
I remember coming down the escalator in Italy, and I had a hard time walking, and so I'm like, okay, I know this escalator is coming to an end. I need to, I
Make a step.
need to make this step on time because I've seen some bad videos with those escalators. And then as I was walking, it was just like it was so hard to just keep upright.
That's crazy because like from a side, you would never be able to tell.
No,
And I
and
know like you shared it with me during that time and shared a
yeah,
lot of the details, but like
yeah,
from a side, it kind of all looks normal. So like that's why I think one of the things I do think that's so important is to talk about this with people and
yeah.
voice it as much as possible. Um, it
It
is challenging
it
to
is.
be a strong partner during that season because
Yeah.
for some time that whole week you were taking notes and you were thinking I could be Parkinson's.
So okay, that was what my biggest worry was. So I got like the brain scans done, like the back scans done. It was like here's the amount of appointments I had was insane. And so like okay, it wasn't MS, it wasn't like we ruled out a lot of things, but it was possibly Parkinson's. And my neurologist he looked at me and he's like, "Okay, it really doesn't look like your nervous system is degenerating. So I don't think that's what it is." He says he thinks it has to do with anxiety, which I'm like, I'm a very chill guy.
You are
Um,
very chill. Like people would
so
never think that you have anxiety when
yeah,
they see you from a side.
yeah.
But you know what? You do worry about like random things. I pay bills at home, and if I miss one bill, like I don't know, I don't actually miss many bills, but there would be like one off season where I miss it. Tim feels like we literally are going bankrupt. Not because I like we don't have
So
money, but like you're just worried about the fact that I missed to
I
pay
think
the
it
bill.
is interesting. I think the doctor was right about one thing, anxiety. Not stress. I'm not stressed, but the anxiety. It just and like it's funny because like so many years later, you look at yourself and you're like, wait, I didn't know I'm anxious. That's interesting. And I look at my dad, I'm like, wait, and he was also anxious too growing up. He's always like, we're late. We need to do this. I need to do that. I need to help out people. I need to
But isn't that more of my personality? Like we're late.
you're fast. You're not anxious. So it's
I'm
different
not
because,
anxious.
and like you said, the bills, I always like, I don't stress about it. I have anxiety. Oh, wait, did you miss the bill? Oh, did you take care of that appointment? And so it's interesting. That's how the body
You're a
works.
little bit more of a warrior.
You know what really, really helped me? It was so interesting because obviously the doctor's like, we don't know. Here's a bunch of meds, right? Except my neurologist. He's actually a really cool guy. But the doctor's like, here's a lot of meds. And like none of them helped. None of it. And I'm not I don't want to get
We
into
don't
all
take
that.
pills, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you want to be as natural as possible. So it's so weird, so weird. But I'm gonna share this. So it was one of those nights. I was getting again the same symptoms and stuff like that. So I lay down in bed and I don't know what it is. So I start googling again. I try to describe my symptoms. Like okay, the body is not shaking; it's vibrating. There's a difference. So I come across this .gov. I think it was an Indian website or something, and they had a small paragraph talking about it, and they say try to close your eyes and let go of every muscles one at a time. So whatever, so random, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to get rid of this feeling. I'm just gonna try it. What do I have to lose? I close my eyes and I let go of the left shoulder. I let go of the right shoulder. I let go of the upper back, like slowly, slowly. And it felt almost like getting goosebumps. And all of a sudden, the vibration, this is so crazy. It stopped for about 30 seconds. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy how our bodies work. Like, wait a minute, that is the craziest thing. It did more than any other pills in the world, like that I ever tried. Um, and then like I started keep on doing it, kept on doing it, kept on doing it. And I'm thinking, wait, maybe it is anxiety. You know?
Okay. But here's the thing. Here's what I was talking to you about this. So once you like shared this, I love my quiet mornings.
Yeah,
I like honestly, even if I don't get enough sleep, I rather get up a little bit earlier
yeah,
before the family because I just want to sit there in a peace, drinking my coffee
yeah.
and just like nobody talking to me. And that
Okay.
quiet morning is just crucial.
Mm.
Here's the problem in society.
Uh-huh.
This is gonna be me preaching.
All right. What is the
The
problem?
problem in society
People don't drink coffee.
no. The problem in society, we consume too much content. We consume so much stuff, and we are the ones, I'm the one that's creating those short form
Mm,
videos. But the amount of content we consume, our children, how much content they're consuming, the constant information, I like, honestly, I hate the short form content. It's something we're creating, it's something that people consume, and it's something that we do, like, we're part of it too. But at the same time, I think the amount of content you consume, like you love your
uh,
like videos, you watch them a lot. And boys, I catch our kids, they're sitting on their tablets or their phones and constantly consuming content. We're not very strict with our kids about like this whole like thing. We want them to make their own decisions. They're at the age where they can make their own
mm,
decisions. But I honestly think, sorry, I'm very passionate, like
mm.
getting into this whole
Okay,
vibe.
okay.
I honestly think that's a huge issue. I think
They're saying the short form videos, because they constantly change. There's so much information, is so much load on your brain.
I get overwhelmed. I get
Yeah,
so stressed when I constantly watch those short form
yeah.
videos when I swipe. Constant consumption of swiping is crazy. And it's like, it's
Mhm.
constant. It's never ending. Think about the days where like,
Well, it turns into a thing where before you go to bed, you're like, you feel like you have something to do, left something to do, and that is to swipe. And you start swiping, you're like, you never finish doing what your body's trying to do. It's
yeah,
almost
and that
like a
constant
locked
information gets
circle.
processed. I feel like our brains don't rest. Our
Yeah,
brains don't really have a chance to
yeah,
rest.
yeah,
So I don't know what we're supposed to do as society in
yeah.
general, but do we put timers on our phone not to allow ourselves to use? And
So,
honestly, so here's one more
uh-huh,
thing. When we went to the spa, we started doing massages. We're
uh,
trying to do them on a weekly basis, but definitely not working out. We're gonna do at least twice a month, maybe
bi-weekly. Yeah, I think
bi-weekly.
it's a good goal.
But we went to the spa place,
Uh,
and you were like that day. You were like, "I'm not doing TikToks," and you were
um,
so present. You were talking, and I was just like, this is the life.
mm.
This is the way we're supposed to live. Because if I'm not creating content, I'm consuming content. It's constant roller coaster
So
of overconsumption.
I, I think part of it is you're right. And actually, yesterday I was listening to another podcast, and I don't know, I have not verified this, but they're saying that WHO, World Health Organization, has, I think it's stress and depression. Um, I guess, how does it, like, they have it as designated like an emergency or a major issue that the world is going through.
Right now,
It's like a major condition that everyone's going through in the world. It's like a,
I can totally see that because it's not only that. Like, here's
yeah,
another thing. My mom consumes a lot of content because she's at home all the time. She's a
uh,
homebody and she watches news. And every time I call her, she's always like, "Are you guys
she's worried.
okay? Tennessee had a tornado. Tennessee had a tornado 3 hours from us, and she thinks we're dying now." Like, this consumption of information, like the news, travels so much faster.
But
Think about our grandparents.
okay,
They didn't have this much information.
hold on. But here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe they were stressed too, but that's
Well,
why
they're
they died
physically
early, right?
tired.
No, but here's another thing though. I think like also paying bills, right? You're like,
Hmm.
oh, this bill is due there. That bill is due the other day. And then you have your kids, right? They go to school, and you have to somehow be responsible for their homework or whatever, make sure they have their assignments done in time. That's another layer of things you have to do. And then, right, your bills, and
The
then
fast-paced life is what you're referring
right,
to?
your appointments, oil change, a pop tire. You have so many things every day that you have to do, but just like, especially when you have your career going on, right, your business going on, the very first thing you wake up, you look through your work messages. We're using Slack and other, ClickUp, all these softwares, and we're like, you have to make sure like all your tickets are closed. If you're managing people, you have to make sure
I
work
have
is
so many people
assigned.
that are managing, and sometimes it is overwhelming. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like my team is very patient with me.
they're
So,
amazing.
like, they
Yeah.
are amazing. But I'm like, sometimes I'm like, if I'm really good at one part, like helping one person, I neglect the next person. And it's just like, it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming.
Like
But
you,
I think I manage it a little bit better than you do because I'm just constantly like, I think I'm faster a little bit. So I'm not
you're a multitasking person. Yeah.
true.
Right? And I just work on one thing and like don't bother me until I'm done. Um
But like, yeah, it's true because our society moves so fast. Like this is the holiday season and
yeah.
everybody's moving so fast. All these Christmas parties.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of stocking stuffers or whatever
But
you call them.
do you think though, okay, you're saying just TikTok. But do you think though, if you layer it up with all the other responsibilities you have, like that's a lot of schedule to manage for our brain.
So do we sell everything? We just move to Italy and live in a tiny little house.
No, but
You're like, you considered it for a second.
n-
I'm just messing
well, I
around.
mean, what is the solution overall? I
Like
mean,
the solution. So I guess what's working for you? Like, can I share a little bit what's
uh-huh.
working? As a mom with two little kids, they were 18 months apart. I felt really overwhelmed at times because I was working full time. For example, I had Jacob on Wednesday. I went back to work on Monday, like literally days apart. Then Ethan was born. I still went back to work. That burnout was real. And so one of the things when kids were a little bit older, I would say, Mama needs a timeout. If you have little kids, I think it's a great tip. Like we would put our boys in timeout so they knew that like when you're in timeout that means you're not doing well. So they knew this,
Mhm.
like, Mama needs a timeout, she's not doing well, like it's not your fault. Because what's the point of snapping at kids? What's the point of just getting frustrated? You just need that moment of silence. I remember doing that a lot, like when kids were younger. So I think that's helpful. You're talking about like your meditation silence type of thing.
I'm just starting to learn all about that. The whole
I think
just
learning a
just
balance,
yeah, just learning to stop and let your brain rest. It's yeah,
just like silence, right? Like
yeah.
when you say rest, when you do you mean like doing nothing
Well,
in silence?
sometimes it's good. Where was I? Oh, that was also yesterday, the day before. I was listening to a psychological professor back from 70s. It was a long time ago. They knew this information from a long time ago, I guess. But he said, this is the most interesting thing. He says that a lot of people have not, in their entire lives, they've never spent 30 minutes not thinking about anything. Did you know that if you spend 30 minutes thinking about nothing, that kind of ideas, so towards the end of those 30 minutes, your brain still becomes creative. And the kind of ideas you will think of, you will literally think of a solution for any problem you have because the brain is so creative. So the moment you stop feeding it information, it starts like
Creating.
developing any a solution to any issues you have. So if you have any problem in your life, just stop thinking for 30 minutes.
I actually think the silence thing is so important. They say sometimes in the morning when you get up to go outside and also like vitamin D. I don't know if it's real or whatever, but
It's like, well, like if you're cut short on
like
sun.
no, but like sitting outside just directly in the sun and just sitting there
Oh yeah,
silently for 10 minutes,
yeah,
it's really helpful to set you up for the right day. I think a lot of people that do start their day with a prayer or some sort of meditation, it
right,
sets them up right. Like I think
right.
it sets you up for the right.
I could totally see that. I've never really understood it.
Like,
First
you
of all,
know how like people,
yeah,
parents would always say, pray in the morning, be thankful at night. That's like a form of
there's
like, take religion aside. No,
there
let's take
there there's
religion.
some stress praying, you know, like
There are some stress brain, but think about like, let's take religion aside, whatever our parents taught us. It is a form of meditation, like
yeah, it
being
is.
thankful at the end of the day for everything that you
Yeah.
had. And then in the
Or
morning,
crying a
blessing,
little bit.
huh?
Crying a little bit is good too.
Crying a little bit. And
It-
then in the morning, asking for blessing for the day. I think it's so valid and so important. And like whatever the form that you have, it's like sitting there and being like, I think gratitude is really important. A lot of
mm,
people don't practice that, but like oftentimes we're thinking, I'm thinking about, are they stocking stuffers? I mean, they're not stuck. Like it's so stupid. Like it's Christmas and I'm like, I'm thinking of everything. I'm like, gratitude. Stop. We had the
yeah,
most epic Christmas party this weekend.
yeah,
We like stop for a moment, think about this. Tomorrow we're
yeah.
going for to New York. It's like there's so much gratitude in life that we can have, like this beautiful Christmas tree right behind me, do you, or right behind Tim. I like, there's the little things in life, they're so important to have gratitude for, because a lot of the times we get stuck in this moments of like negativity, and I think negative information is so bad for our brains. Looking at the bright side.
Sure. Okay, so meditation, prayer. Yeah, yeah, I agree. We're just sitting there in silence, or just like just do nothing. It really is good for your
Can
brain
I
to
add a
unwind.
really, really big one that's important to me?
Yeah.
You know what it is. Travel. And this is where we're stuck right now. So Tim, uh,
Okay, so
I'm looking for travel partner.
yeah, can I
Basically,
explain the dilemma here? Okay,
the dilemma
this
is
is
I'm
this
looking
is
for
a
travel partner.
when okay, traveling for Natalia is a stress reliever. To me, when
It's
I
actually created. Like when I go
yeah,
traveling, I get so creative. I have the best business ideas. I think some of our best business moves was due to the travel.
that's actually that 30 minutes of meditation or
But I like
thinking of
needed a
nothing.
week to unplug and not think about
Mm,
8 people that I'm managing.
mm.
I just need a week of like quiet silence and keep going. Sorry, travel for Natalia. Keep
And
sharing.
it's stress for me. I'm like, oh, I have so much work at home. I have my anxiety. Okay, my anxiety,
Spikes.
which is it's crazy. You learn so much about yourself. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Um,
But you know what I'm thinking about? Like, so this
no,
is our
stressing is.
dilemma.
I
Tim
mean,
really wants to go to Costa Rica. We need people to vote on this in comments.
no, we will go.
Hold on.
That's
Can
not
you
what we
hear
need
me
to
out?
vote
Can
in
you?
comments. The
We
comments like
need to.
is traveling more than like 2 times a month. Okay, it's not okay.
We're not traveling 2 times a month. You guys,
I'm
this is our
sorry,
marriage issue
three
right now.
3 times this month.
Stop.
I'm
We're not
serious.
trying.
3 times. Tomorrow we're leaving for New York.
It's only 2 days.
This is
It's like a weekend trip. It doesn't even
in
count.
a week we're leaving to Denver.
That's
Or
kids' trip for four
yeah,
days.
a week ago we came back from Washington
That's not true.
State.
It was November. We're in December now.
Yes, we're a week into December. We can't
It
tell
was in
people that.
November. We
Yes.
came back on the 29th. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, that
But
was
like,
10, 11 days ago.
we have nothing for December and February. Oh, sorry,
We
not
have 2 trips in
December.
December.
Wait. Family issue, you guys. But this is literally live family dilemma.
It just
But
stressed me because I have work done. Anxiety is a real thing.
so, but going to Costa Rica will probably recharge you in March. You know how cold it will be in Tennessee?
But it'll stress me in February.
No, we're
So I'm
not doing
landing.
anything in February, so might as well stress and
Ooh,
work.
you want to see my list? We're doing a lot of things, and
What are we doing in February?
you
We're
want
working.
the website to go live?
Yeah, we're working in February.
You know, like the communication barrier where you cannot explain what kind of work you're doing or how much, so you layer it inside.
So this is a mental health issue now.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, this
Okay,
is
keep
interesting.
sharing. Sorry.
Actually, it's so interesting how different we are, because even like inspirational speakers like Natalia will get energized by some dude yelling in the microphone. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I feel so energized, so inspired." And I feel so stressed. Just can the person stop yelling at me? I know I have a lot to do already. We're such different people.
We are different people, and I'm surprised how well our marriage works.
Yeah.
I think we give a little, we compromise a little.
Okay.
So we have to like I have to respect you. So for example, we had, actually speaking of trips, when we were in Italy, we had Prague booked for November and we ended up canceling it because we were worried about you and thinking about your health and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm okay compromising. I just think by March, you're going to be sick of this weather in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll be very happy if I accomplish work. I just need to finish the things. But here's another thing. So here's another thing. Okay, we're talking about stress relievers, sleep. Okay, I want to talk about this because growing up, the way our dad, or my dad, raised us boys, we had 4 boys in our family, was that sleeping is associated with laziness. So if you're a successful person, you don't sleep. If you rise early in the morning, you'll be successful. But if you sleep, you are a lazy guy. It was like symptomatic?
What are you trying
Synonymous. Oh, okay. Synonymous. Sleeping was synonymous with laziness for me. And not sleeping was synonymous with success.
Isn't there like a saying that, or is it early riser gets the bread or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like common in society.
So I grew up being embarrassed of sleeping.
Actually, think about Proverbs woman. Sorry. The Proverbs 31 woman. She gets up early. She does this and this and this. Like, it's all in the Bible too. So it's like very deep in the whole entire society. That's so interesting.
So, but interesting thing. So I've been looking more into sleeping, right? Because I realized like apparently I need to sleep. Uh,
Apparently, you
and
need to sleep.
yeah,
Because here's the thing, speaking of sleep,
uh,
last night we're talking about mental health. At 1 a.m., we're setting up this whole thing.
yeah, it's like more like 2 a.m.
Yeah, so like it's just there's no
Yeah,
balance in life.
yeah, yeah. That's our lives. But I was reading this book on sleeping, and it talks about 30% of the people are night owls, right?
Mhm.
Night owls meaning that you cannot fall asleep until way late in the night. Like some people fall asleep at 2, at 3. And actually, I used to work with Europe and software, and I was surprised a lot of these folks didn't fall asleep till 5 or 6 in the morning. But the thing is, you have to, the whole world wakes up in the morning. All the businesses open up in the morning. But what happens to the 30% that go to sleep late because that's their circadian rhythm works differently? That's what they call it. They go to sleep late and wake up late. Well, now these guys, nobody, it's okay to go to sleep late. You're not going to get in trouble, but you just have to get up early, right? So we have the night owls that sleep 3 to 4 hours, and the early birds sleep their whole 6, sometimes 7 hours a day, right? So these people are being hurt by the system we live in.
Or you marry a night owl and you sit it out and wait for the night
Yeah.
owl to go to bed, and then you're naturally early bird,
And
and
we're
your body
undercutting
wakes
each
up at
other.
7 a.m. Huh?
We're undercutting each other because you are going to sleep later because you want to sleep with me.
Yes. Oh, I love going to bed with you. It's like my
Yeah.
favorite thing in life.
But you're an early bird.
And my body wakes up at 7 a.m. and then I'm screwed.
And I go to bed later because I'm a night owl, but then, well, lately I've been working it, but I get up early because everybody else, well, kids and everything starts, work starts earlier. And so I get less sleep. You get less sleep because of me. I get less sleep because of the whole
Society.
system, society. And plus feeling that guilt that, hey, I if I want to be successful, I can't sleep. But so reading that book, it talks about how sleep is such an understudied information field of
People.
health or
That's why you
science.
got your ring
Yeah, I
recently.
got my ring now. It's
Were you
I'm
gonna
trying
sleep?
out this ring con. But anyways, but what the guy is saying, he says it's a third of your life. It's your body spends in recovery. And so what you're doing by sleeping less is you're undercutting your body's like ability to recover itself. It works better than absolutely any drug in the world. It's your body just going through this, I don't know what do you call it, like recovery mode. Don't cut yourself. They're saying like, don't wake yourself up with coffee. We love coffee. Don't wake yourself up with coffee. You want to naturally wake up when your body is done recovering itself. Because
I can't live like that.
if you're not waking up, it means your body is not ready for it.
See, and that's my issue right now, because you are going to bed later. I stay up later. I get up earlier, and I still wake up myself with coffee. We're going to be dealing with
So
my
many
mental health in
things.
a few years.
It-
Hey, unless we go to Costa Rica, we might be just
right?
fine.
But it's interesting because we work in this industry where you have so many successful people, so many people with like beautiful families, beautiful careers, and it's so, I'd say, uncommon to find someone that's mentally perfect. It's not.
I think people cover a lot. Like cover.
I
Okay,
mean,
is it normal? One of the questions I had on my phone, I just looked at it. Is it normal to talk to people? Like, how do you feel like this whole like society? I talked to my sister a few years back. There was something that happened, like tragic happened in her life, and I was like, I think you may need to go talk to somebody about
Therapy.
this, like a professional therapist.
yeah.
And she's like, therapy for what? Like
Yeah.
there's something wrong with
I
her.
mean, if you're
I'm like,
from
there's
Slavic family,
yeah,
there's
there's
no such
nothing.
thing.
There's nothing wrong with me. Why would you?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you, but I think talking to a professional, because there was tragedy. I can't even say this.
Tragedy.
In your life, it would be really good to talk
Yeah.
to some. Like, it's like good to express our emotions. It's good if it's your friend. That's fine. If you have somebody in your life you can talk to, it's really good.
Yeah.
But like, from a macho man perspective, like, don't you think like you're not really a macho man? You're just a great man. Like,
No, we have that a little bit in
I think men in general just
Yeah.
have that. I think. Do you think it's helpful to talk to people about this, or you're still feeling like it's a burden?
So if you would ask me like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would say no, I was still okay, but I think like the last 2 years, I became more and more for it, and part of it is like even that time when I talked to my neurologist, that said you have anxiety, and I'm like, I didn't know I have anxiety.
Mhm.
So I think by having another person take a look at you will let you uncover things the way you're processing because it's one thing viewing. So, and again, I read this thing by a person that says the way we see ourselves is the way we want to be seen by other people. So we don't truly view ourselves
Oh, that's
the way we
interesting.
are. We view ourselves the way we want to be viewed. But it's always important to have somebody else reevaluate you and see how you actually look
Yeah.
and
So
operate from a
professional is really
side.
good unless you have that very honest friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share something else too. Like for female, I think I was listening to this podcast yesterday that have understudied females body is like in general the like all the studies are mainly done by men, mainly done
Mm.
for men. If you look at the
Oh, that's so
statistics,
good.
most of the
Yeah.
studies are done for men, and one of the reasons why they it's interesting because we still consume so much content. You're like referencing podcasts, I'm
Uh,
referencing podcasts, but I
uh,
feel like podcast is a little bit longer form and it plays in the background. But
yeah.
what they talked about in this podcast is like how complicated female's body is because we have hormones, we carry babies, we have menstrual
Mhm.
cycles,
Mhm.
we have like this highs and lows. And like I say, hey, don't talk to me because I'm PMSing right now. Like
Mhm.
we just have like a crazy body, like a female in general. And then we go through menopause.
Mhm.
And then that season is crazy. And nobody actually, menopause is not even studied. Like our
Yeah.
parents never talked about menopause. They didn't say, so there's a little bit more studies that are happening right now, but there's literally no information about menopause. What are you supposed to expect? What is supposed to happen to your body?
Mhm.
What is happening actually to female's body? There's not enough information. Or if there is information, what this doctor was saying, just like they don't talk about it enough. There's not information being like there's studies, but people don't like put it out there in the world. But
Yeah.
so one
I know
of
that hormones is a huge thing.
yeah, hormones. So I was gonna talk about hormones. One of the people that I know in my life, she was so depressed at the point of like suicidal thoughts.
Want to take her life.
Yeah, she wanted to take her life. She reached out to me and she talked to me about it, and it was all related to hormones. And after checking hormones, they were so out of whack. Like, so if you're having like, I don't know if this is gonna be helpful for any of you. If you're having some kind of like dark, deep thoughts, whatever, check your hormones if it helps at all. There's some people that are like having like issues with a lot of like
Yeah.
mental health and all that stuff. So I think there's layers to this topic. And I
Right.
just feel like society
We're,
doesn't talk about it enough. So I wanna
mm,
kind of like bring it up. Let's talk about
I
this.
know, I don't know much about it, but I've heard things like mold and things
Yeah, mold
affecting.
issues too.
So it's just again, it's all under study. And so the thing is, we now know, for example, in this scientific whatever studies, that we now can pinpoint a lot of those things. Like for example, to the nervous system, we have general. I don't remember the names. General names right now to what it is causing it because they know like, hey, this is coming from the brain. This is coming from something wrong. We just don't know enough.
But it's like neurology, yes, one thing, but there's hormones. There's another under layers of things like that for
Or
females.
hormones, yeah.
Yeah. So like there's so many different layers that our bodies have. I just like I feel like this is why I was telling you yesterday. I don't know what to say. We don't have a solution. You and I don't have a solution. But I also want to bring up this topic like kind of like I think I had like an insecurity thing, imposter syndrome yesterday. I was like, I'm not qualified to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
You're not qualified. Well,
Well,
maybe you're more qualified
well,
because you're
no.
smarter than me. But I'm like, we're not qualified to talk about mental health. But I want people to think about this. I want
Well,
people to talk about this.
well, there's one thing to be qualified to tell them people what to do. So we can't really direct and say like, hey, take whatever because we need to, but we can come here and acknowledge that it exists,
Yeah, bring
right?
awareness.
Bring awareness because
And it's normal. Like, it's like you're not alone. You're not alone if
yeah,
you're feeling down, if you're feeling through darkness. Like when Tim's, he shared his thinking that he had Parkinson's. Oh, we went down this like deep hole of like, what happens to our marriage? How does that look like in the future? It was just a lot of darknessness. So I feel like if you're going through dark seasons, if you're going through something hard, like try to reach for help. Like reach out to people around you. Be honest, be open, tell them that you're struggling. I
well,
think it's
and
important.
right, and if you know someone, And this is the whole time. This is literally my whole last year lesson. If you learn anything at all, if you know someone that says I am sick, everything is hurting, it
They're really
doesn't mean
sick.
nothing's hurting. It really means something's going
But
on
how
with
do you
them.
help somebody like that?
It's crazy because what happens with those people is they sound naggy,
Yeah,
right?
they feel dismissed. Like we want to dismiss them because they do sound
But,
naggy.
but naggy is not necessarily because they want to get annoying. It's because they have no other way to communicate. They have no way to explain it. Is they're stuck.
Actually, can I share something else? Like, if you're going through something like this, one more thing that helps is the silence thing I was talking about.
What?
Walking. Like, walking was like July, I walked every single morning at 6 a.m. because it was so hot in Tennessee. You guys, it is the best cure. If you are struggling, get out
It's a form of meditation.
form of meditation. And I don't think people don't look at it like that. People don't look at it as walking for mental health, but they think about walking for like physical health. Yes, it's both. I think more than anything, like turn off. If you're driving somewhere far, don't listen to music. Don't listen to anything. I was going to the mall, which is like 40 minutes from us, but to buy some Christmas stuff. I turned off everything in the car, didn't talk to anybody, didn't call anybody. I just sat there in silence because I feel like our life during Christmas months can be chaotic with work, with everything. So silence, but walking was the best cure ever. I would just look around and I had so much gratitude. I was
Yeah.
just so thankful.
That's interesting. I have a friend that for him a form of reset is running. And I think
True.
you have back from Lake Taps. You also know people that for them it's just a form of, I guess, a form of reset is running. It's because when you run, the body, the brain doesn't have, I guess, doesn't have the capacity to think about all the little stuff or have anxiety because it's
It's like
focused.
a good reset.
Yeah, it's focused on your body. Yeah.
Whenever I have like hard, overwhelming, like whenever I receive a lot of information, I had this like really overwhelming week. I went for a 13-mile walk and it was the best thing I could have done for myself. My body didn't even hurt after, but I felt like this relief of everything coming
Why it
out
has
of
to be
me.
like 4 hours?
It
No.
was 4 hours. I walked by myself, and my friend was like, "You walked by yourself for 4 hours?" I was like, "Yes." And it was literally the best thing I could do for myself. It was like
You came back with
heavenly.
ideas.
Yeah. Like I actually was texting. I was like, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, this walk is heavenly. And this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking."
Yeah.
So, like, if maybe instead of Costa Rica,
Um,
you could send me on a walk.
that's an option. I may be up for that one.
This Costa Rica topic will
Um,
never go away. uh,
Another thing that helps me, and I'm going to share this because I'm still a baby in this, but one thing that helped me is reading. And I don't like fictional books because I just feel like that's fake. That's fake. Um,
what do you read?
I'm actually reading, so I got this thing like a human anatomy book. It sounds so dumb, but that's what I
Tim is
love.
just such a geek and such a next level
Um,
person. I can't.
just learning how our muscles operate, how the joints connect, and like how it just certain how the whole body works. And my mind blown because apparently it works very different than I always visualize. So, but reading, I got the book I think from Costco and one from Amazon. Um, but it's like reading completely makes me feel different if I, when I read before going to bed.
It's way better consumption of content than
Yeah,
TikTok. Like, so if
yeah.
you're going to consume content, consume it in like a slower form. Watch, like, listen to a podcast, watch
Right.
something longer.
So when we say TikTok, it's not it's particular TikTok. It's just any kind of
Like
form,
of
short
short,
form,
the one that you swipe really fast.
yeah, short form content, or even so. Podcast has been also healing for me. It's just like two
Because
boring
it's
people
longer.
talking.
It's
Yeah,
longer.
it
It's relaxing. I feel like I
more
connect to people.
pauses, more
You know,
pauses.
more pauses
One
to
topic.
yes, one topic. Well, we're all over the place,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I think you connect with people. You relate to people more.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
actually love that we're doing this together too. I think this is therapeutic for us too. Okay, some rapid fire questions. Tim does not know about these questions because we have little like notes on the like he has it on the paper. I have it on the phone. We had joined combined notes, but then I've created a secret list of rapid fire questions for Tim.
Secretive person.
How do you know when it's time to seek relationship counseling? I just want to do rapid fire questions after every podcast
I,
just for
I,
fun.
okay. We've never had therapy
Counseling.
because like $250 an hour, whichever. It's like, oh, it's a lot of money. But um, Genuinely, I think everyone needs it, no matter what.
No
It's
matter
just,
what season.
yeah, I think like in 5, 10 years, it's good to revisit, to just at least have a few appointments and have someone tell you if that's abnormal or normal
Like to check you.
to check you, to balance you. Yeah.
Okay. Should finances be fully shared in a marriage or should there be a separation?
I think it's good to have it together most of the time. Um, some people, it's just some marriages work so different. Like I choose not to judge them because they do work, but they're just so different. And so there are exceptions to it, but generally it's good to start, like it's good to start with nothing and just share everything together.
Dave
It
Ramsey
builds up
says, so
trustworthiness.
Dave Ramsey, the financial guy,
Yeah.
he says absolutely together. There's no
Really?
way you should ever be
Well,
separated. But here's the thing. Can
but
I
it
say
does
something else?
build up trustworthiness. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't hide any transactions or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I also think women having their own little thing going on gives you a little bit more power. In a marriage, it sounds bad, but like it gives you more value in a sense. Okay, so let me kind of, it's like can of worms. Having kids is really good. Being a mom is really good. Doing all that, there's a season for that, but also doing your little thing that you can start on the side is really beautiful too because you challenge your brain outside of just being, well, that sounds so bad, just being a mom, because just being a mom is such a big deal. Just outside of that. So I think females having a little of something
Some
is really
people
great.
truly don't want anything besides kids. That makes sense. I mean, everybody's different, but it is
Yes.
okay. So I
And some
see what
people
you
are really
mean.
good at it too.
No, but I see what you mean because we always need to progress, right? Some people stop progressing after high school. That's all they know. And they're just busy staying at home. So no, I get what you mean. You need to have something. You need
So
to
you're
talk to
interesting.
people. Yeah. So 20 years later,
I mean, our kids,
you're still current.
yeah, I'm saying this because our kids are at the age they absolutely don't need me anymore. Like,
Right.
well, I mean, they probably still need me as a mom, but like they could easily live without my attention
Yeah.
or like my help or stuff like that. So now, what would I do if I didn't have my own little thing going
That's
on?
true.
So
Right.
I love that there was some little thing
So your
because when
life is
kids
not
grow up,
over after they're grown up.
yeah, and I don't think it would feel like it's over. It would just be different season of life. Like I would look forward to the grandbabies and stuff like that. But it's just kind of nice. I also think you have a little bit more power in marriage,
Mm.
financially too. I kind of like go woman, get power.
But still, like I could see that you have a lot more trustworthiness when you're together. Which actually, I'm just right now in the back of my head, just analyzing people that I know that are separate. Yeah, that does build up some separation.
It's
You know
funny
what I mean?
story is we always had everything together from like day one.
Mhm.
And all the credit cards, because I dealt with all the bills. I'm gonna share you a funny story.
Yeah.
Tim was so insulted this last week. So I'm the one who like pays bills and stuff like that. So I go to the bank, I create the credit cards, like
Oh, oh man.
and so
I
like
don't have credit cards. Okay.
so Tim never had a credit
I
card in
had
his
credit
name.
cards in my name a long time ago,
Yeah, a
but
long
I
time
don't
ago,
need it.
not recently.
Yeah.
So we tried to finally open up a credit card in his
Yeah.
name and he got rejected.
Yeah. They're like, your income to debt ratio. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm a very successful man. They're like, I'm sure another company would love to have me, but what are you talking about?
Tim's credit is over like 800. Like he has like a perfect
Forever.
history
Yeah.
forever.
I've never had a late bill, nothing. Like,
Well, you don't pay them. You
because
don't
you
know.
pay for it. No, some of those I pay for. Trust me.
No, it's hilarious because he was so insulted on the call. So
Yeah.
do everything together, but maybe get your husband a credit card early on. That would be a good idea.
I need
He's
to
a
go. I
co-signer
need
with
to
me.
go through all the accounts and make sure my name is there, so
Did
they
you?
know.
Like, I mean, it's there. I don't know what it means. I saw your name on there.
Whatever those guys are talking about was so insulting. It's like, dude, I can buy the company you're trying to
Okay,
sell
but a
me.
few years back, not a few years, but like 6 or 7 years back, we opened up the same exact credit card. Tim gets a limit over like $4,000 or three,
You get 3.
and then I get like 40.
Yeah, you got $45,000 limit, and I got 3, and they were being like generous. So like, yeah, we're just this is a great limit for you, $3,000. I'm like, dude, I can buy your bank. Like
Stop.
you're you
You
don't give
cannot
me
buy their
you
bank,
don't you
honey.
don't do a loan for three thousand
I
dollars.
mean, we're not.
No, I'm
We're
just speaking
not.
my heart out.
You're.
That's how I
Tim is
felt.
insulted. That's how he's defending himself. We're not like some high rollers or anything like
Or
that.
it's gonna be a piggy bank, but I can buy it.
um,
um,
how do you balance personal space and time together in a relationship? That's
okay,
interesting.
one more time.
How do you balance personal space and time together in a relationship?
Um,
Is gym your personal space?
can um,
Like, how do
oh,
you
that's
recharge by
interesting.
yourself?
Not just gym. There are times when I just need time to myself. Like, yeah,
Unwind before bed?
yeah. Like you're saying, probably meditation. Like unwind. Like, yeah, just sit down. I just want to think about my life. Think about today, what happened.
Yeah.
Just like I don't cry as a man, but I need to
Cry.
internally sob. I don't know what it is. Just like just analyze life and stuff. Like,
I think
what do you think?
I sometimes I say, don't talk to me. Nobody talk to me.
Yeah, you just say that. Yeah,
It's not very often though.
yeah,
But I do say like, nobody talk to me right now.
yeah.
Because I get
And
overwhelmed.
how do you spend time together? You just,
Well, I mean, or your time alone versus I think walks is very healing for me.
yeah.
Yesterday I went to the gym to do like lifting and I was like, oh, I wish I was walking. Walking sounds so great because there's still people in the gym. I love walking. Like it literally is the best thing I
Yeah,
ever
but
done
you
for
still
my
have to
health.
make time for each other. Like
Oh
even
yeah.
walking together was good because
That was our plan for
yeah,
December. We're not doing well.
whenever it's fine. Whenever we start walking, the first few minutes or like 10, 15 minutes, we argue. And after those, like towards the end, we actually like figure things out and we enjoy the
Oh my
conversation.
gosh, one of the years we decided we're gonna walk, do a challenge. That was the most exhausting month. I think it was after a season of you working a lot.
Hmm.
And I told you, I was like, this is the most exhausting walking I ever done because we were arguing literally on every talk, on every walk. Like we're
Well,
just
because
talking
of
through. But
the,
by the
yeah,
end of the month, we're done through like all of our marriage
yeah.
issues. So if you are having marriage issues, maybe get stuck on the walk together.
It's not like marriage issues. It's just the chores that you have in life. They're just so much. And maybe that's the source of anxiety. You just, like I said, it's not just TikToks, it's everything going at you.
It's
Everything.
TikToks.
What was that? I think we were
I'm just
traveling.
messing
You
around.
know, when you go out of country, oh, yeah, when you go out of country, you realize, wow, like there's nothing holding you. Like you don't have to do anything. You can literally move out of country and like you don't have to worry about bills or whatever, all those things.
Should we do that?
I, I take care of bills.
You take
Gosh,
care
if
of
I
bills.
worry about them, then I'm definitely taking care of them. Just think about all
You just remind me to pay.
the phone plan, the landscaping, the everything, like the sprinkler system.
That's true. You
Yeah,
take care of those. I forgot about those.
the rental homes. There's
Yeah,
a
you
lot.
take care.
There's a lot.
Yeah. I guess we have a balance
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we do have a
A little bit
balance.
more of a balance. Okay, I love this one. Um, how do you set boundaries without feeling guilty? Boundaries with like saying yes to everything, everybody, and
I mean, I set boundaries only when there's work,
so it's
right?
Costa Rica boundary.
No, and when there is like it has like it's affecting my mental state. Like I need a moment to myself. Like what other boundaries do you have?
I feel like I have a lot of guilt with friendships
Uh-huh.
because I don't always have enough time for everybody. And
Mhm.
so I think I have a lot of guilt around that. So, how do I set boundaries with having a good balance? I do not know. I honestly don't know. And I do think I prioritize the very important things in life. So, the important people you still prioritize, but there is still a lot of guilt.
Huh.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're confused in that one. What role does gratitude play in mental health, being or mental wellness?
Gratitude?
Yeah.
Man, these are like I'm lost in your I'm lost in your questions.
I think gratitude is such a big deal. I personally, that's why I like walks because a lot of the times it brings out gratitude in me. I am just so grateful for America. Every time we go to Italy and I'm just like, we're going to live in Italy one day. And then I come to America and I'm like, please take my money. Just like, let me pay for all the taxes. Take 50. No, don't take 50, but like take everything I have
It's close to
because
50.
it's like, I just love where we live. I love the country. I love the neighborhood. I love our little life. Like I love
Yeah.
like gratitude, like the gratitude, like when you wake up in the morning and you think about the things you're grateful for. There's actually gratitude journal. That's actually really
It's
useful.
interesting because it takes you to walk away from your chores to build up gratitude. It's very hard to build up gratitude when you're in the middle of doing all your chores. But when you just walk away and you just reset,
When you're
yeah.
sitting on the toilet, you just think about gratitude things.
Yeah, I don't think about gratitude at the
I
toilet.
don't know, like when are
After
you
the toilet.
when are after when are you like having quiet moment? I don't know, like when you're working, this, where do you go to have a quiet moment? I just think gratitude is so important,
Yeah.
and most of the time I'm more of the optimist and more of like the one that just like looks at the bright side even in the darkness. I recommend
I'd say
it.
I'm a pretty bright guy too.
Now, I'm not talking about you. I'm
Uh,
just talking in general, like as public. I'm not comparing. Don't worry. You're a good,
no, I
bright
said I
guy.
am. Just you didn't say we are.
Huh?
You said I am. You didn't say
I'm
we
speaking on
are.
behalf of myself.
Okay, well,
Do you want to speak on behalf of yourself? Gratitude. Let's talk about
trying to say
gratitude.
you're not comparing to me. You're just comparing to everybody
Wow.
else. Okay.
This is ending really well. This was the last question. Is that how you want to end things?
Any more? What do you call your questions?
I feel like we don't know what we're doing, but we wanted to share this. So
Yeah.
that's more of the story behind all this. Hopefully, it's useful for somebody. Hopefully, it opens up some doors for thinking, praying, uh, meditation, walks. I don't know. Having gratitude. What else?
No, but it's very interesting. So, in the end of this all, like it's interesting because coming from Slavic parents, Slavic, I don't know, culture, it's not common to acknowledge mental, mental, what do you call
Stuff?
it? What are we talking about?
Health.
Mental health. Yes, not mental sickness. It's funny because like mental health is often associated with mental sickness. Like, are you
Mentally ill.
retarded?
Yeah.
Like, no. Well, duh, then nothing is wrong. But dude, the brains are so big. You don't have to be like mentally like incapable of something. Mental sickness is so much more, and it's like you can be going through a dark moment because of, like you were saying, hormones, or because of certain buildup of stress that you don't even think you have stress, but you have a buildup. It's very normal. It's not accepted by our, obviously
You know
Slavic
what's interesting?
society.
So like I'm gonna share this. So maybe it paints like a how vulnerable this podcast is and like a open story. So the friend that I shared about the hormone issues, the church was praying for her to get rid of the devil out of her or whatever. Like what do you call
It
it?
wouldn't come out.
But is it the spirits or what do they pray for? In Slavic, like very conservative
Uh,
churches. Like they pray for you because you have the devil living in you. Like what do they pray for?
well, yeah,
BSC. What is BSC? Like what is that? Like how do they
it's
translate that?
like devils. I don't
Yeah,
know.
spirit. Like in
Spirits. Yeah.
yeah, spirits, like not good spirits.
Yeah. Evil spirits.
Oh, evil spirits. Okay, thank you. So basically, they were praying, but like all it was is a simple hormonal misbalance. But you guys, like this is the craziest thing. Like when you go to this like conservative churches that people grew up in, they're like, well, how could you even acknowledge that you like just pray harder? Like, dude, like I don't want to pray harder. I just want some help and like
Just want some vitamin D, and then you're back feeling happy. You just didn't see enough sunshine.
or
It could
something
be as
else.
simple as that. It could be
Or
simple as that.
like maybe you need human interaction. Like
Yeah.
actually one of the other things that happened to you, you went somewhere and you were like, oh, we went to a friend's house after kind of
Oh,
Italy. You came home and you're like,
this is
whoa, I'm experiencing so much joy.
so
It was just a human interaction.
the vibration slowed down after laughing.
Yes.
It was just laughing, just stupid, like nonsense.
It's like human interaction, laughing, happiness, stuff like that. So
It's weird. Like, all right, so I need to laugh more.
you do need to laugh
Yeah.
more.
So I guess sometimes stepping away and just like just
Resetting.
laughing, just being a little stupid is good for your body.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Sometimes being too smart is not good for you, right? You just
Yeah.
have to walk away and be a little bit, let yourself be a little dumb sometimes. That give your brain a break sometimes.
Yeah, you don't need to be perfect.
You don't have to be
Nobody needs to
perfect.
be perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
Do we
that's
wrap it up
interesting.
here?
Yeah, we wrap it up here. Let us know what you guys think. Is it okay to
They're gonna send you a
acknowledge?
whole prescription in comments. I'm
Really?
so expecting that. It's gonna be so funny. Like,
Uh,
one of the reasons I don't talk about religion or politics is because I'm so scared of all the comments.
or
And now we're
health,
talking about
or health.
mental
Like,
health.
okay, it's like,
It's gonna be
um,
deep.
yeah, but it's such a big thing. I feel like 80%. This is my
Your
completely
study.
wild guess. Like 80% of the people have some sort of complexion.
I feel like all of us do, in a sense.
Yeah.
I think every human does because we either lack friendships, we either lack happiness, we lack something, busyness of life, overwhelmness,
Mhm.
the season of life, which I love so much. It brings me so
The
much joy.
to do list.
I love
Oh.
the to-do list. It makes me so happy. I'm so excited to go to New York tomorrow. Tim's like, ah.
I'm thinking about all the work that needs to be done before tomorrow.
That's true. We have a lot of work to do.
Got a
Okay.
haircut appointment in just
You have
10
appointment?
minutes.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna go make some catlietti. Tim's going to haircut.
Yeah.
And love you guys. Thanks for listening. Please leave us feedback if you can. I loved hearing all the feedback about the last podcast. There's so many DMs, but more than welcome to leave the comment below. And we'll be back.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, we're all over the place.
I don't think we were.